Hi, this video tutorial is for a little overview of just opening up your Animate document when you start your animation. Animate was previously known as Flash, and when you open up you will see this, and you need to choose ActionScript 3 here. So if you double click that, and you will get Animate open up. You may want to, up here you can actually change the percentage view, so I'll put that down to 50% just so you can see it better. And if you wanted to make sure that it was centered, there's a little center stage icon there, but it's already centered. Also really important that your size, which is over here in the properties tab, if you've got the library open, make sure you select properties, then you check that the width is 1920 and the height is 1080. And that's HD, and that should be the size you work at for all your college projects in this software. If you was working for a client, you may well be given different dimensions, but for our projects, that's what we work to: 1920 width, 1080 height, and it's actually in pixels. Okay, so that's, you've opened up, you're ready to go. I just want to show you a few other little things. If you click on the frame here, you will see it will change the properties, just like any software really. Whatever you select, the properties will show for that. Let's say if I went to the Tools panel here and chose to put some text in, you see it will change the properties for text. So whatever you touch really, let's just put test here, and I can change that's way too small. There you go, I can just move it, make it bigger, and obviously I can change fonts, styles. Oops, go back. You've got the paragraph and the colour of the font, letter spacing, there's lots of different things. And always make sure you're on static text if you're doing this for motion graphics or animation that we'll be doing. So I'll get rid of that. Oops, so if that happens, just click there and you'll get back to the centre. So if I selected the brush tool, it would change to the properties for the brush tool, for the pencil tool, lasso tool. So you can see settings will change depending on what you select. Okay. Really important thing you must remember to do is save your document, because if you see that's untitled and it has a little asterisk, the asterisk means you haven't saved, and we haven't even got a name for it. So file save as, let's make sure you name, because otherwise this document will be floating in cyberspace somewhere, and it won't know where it's saving to, and it could cause it to crash. And if you've done a lot of work and you've forgotten to save, that's not a good thing. I'm going to just put it on the desktop for now. I'll just call it tester. So just make sure you do that simple thing at the start. Always make sure you save your document. It's quite an important thing to do. Select the arrow tool now. So down here is the layers and the frames. So frames are where the timing of the animation is spaced out. If you've got 24 frames per second, which is what you should have it at, FPS stands for frames per second, the lowest you should have it is 12. So if you click here, you will see that amount of time is 1 second. Yeah, and 48 frames would be 2 seconds. So you have to do quite a few frames before you get to so many seconds of work. Let's say if I insert a frame here, you can see when it's a solid grey block like that, it means it's just copied whatever you've got in that first frame across. If you wanted to make a change, then you'd insert a keyframe. Keyframes make changes, but we'll focus on that another time when on another tutorial. At the moment, this is just how to open up the very basics. Layers. You work in layers as you would in a software, same as Photoshop. You should always name your layers, really important. So I'm going to call this background. And if I wanted another layer on top, I'd click the new layer icon down here. And that could be maybe for a tree that's going to be in the foreground. So that layer should be above. So you manipulate and move your layers as you want them and where you want the things positioned three-dimensionally in your document. If I had, let's say you was doing a lot of work, like quite a big animation, and you had loads of layers and it was getting really confusing scrolling up and down trying to find your layers, you might want to actually put them into a new folder. So I could put environment, call that, and then you can click shift and select both of these and just put them in. And then if I close that, I can make a new layer, and then my environment elements will be tucked away, so I can actually squash up my my timeline so that I don't get too confused. But that's, you don't have to use these folders. It's only if you get really lots and lots of layers and it starts getting a little bit confusing. This is the stages where all the action takes place, just like a theatrical stage. Your timeline is where all the timing gets worked on, and you have a properties tab where all your properties for everything you can check and change and adapt. And there is also a library. A library is for when you import elements, or later on I'll be showing you how to turn things into symbols, and your library will store everything. It's not like if you've used Adobe Premiere or After Effects where you have to store everything in a folder in the same place. Otherwise the software doesn't know where to find the elements that are in the file. In Animate, everything is actually stored inside Animate, so if you import them in, you're actually importing them into this library, and then you just click and drag them onto your stage. Okay, so that is it. So quick overview. ActionScript 3, the dimension should be 1920 by 1080. You must name your layers. You must actually save your document as well, your Animate document. I nearly called it Flash because it's very recently been changed its name. You must save it, otherwise that can cause it to crash. And these are just the elements that you need to know before you start. Okay, I'll be doing further tutorials showing you a lot more as well.